Hey, this is David Henry here for Tae Teeth. We're going to be trying to give the bite back to Taekwondo. Today's lesson, we're going to be talking a little bit about roundhouse kicks, commonly called Tollyo Chagi, which actually in Korean means turning kick because of the body turn. Now, one of the big common mistakes that I see when people are doing roundhouse kicks are they throw them diagonal in an attempt to get them high. And what that really is doing is it's robbing it of a lot of its power. So we're going to talk for the moment about what a roundhouse kick should be and how we can make it a little bit better. So starting off just from a basic fighting stance, one of the things that I want to first focus on is what my bottom foot is doing. My bottom foot should be rotating pretty close to 180 degrees. So when I throw the kick, you'll notice my foot turned almost directly towards the camera. And that's what I want. So if I'm kicking the bag, boom, and I know, right now I'm just kind of putting my foot up there. But the idea is I want my foot to turn. What this does is it brings my hip over. So often I see people either leave the foot directly like this, and they'll try and throw that up there, and the hips don't allow them to do that. Or I'll see them turn it maybe 90 degrees, where they're coming to about here, and they're throwing. And if you look at where my hip is, when I throw that kick and I turn the foot only 90 degrees, my hip is right here. Now, when I'm throwing this kick, if I turn the foot the rest of the way, my hip drives over. And that's really what I want, because that means that I'm not just kicking with my leg. Yes, my leg is the delivery method. My foot is the striking surface, and whether you hit with the ball of the foot, whether you hit with the shin, whether you hit with the instep, it's not actually going to matter for what we're talking about. But by rolling the hips all the way over and getting that good, you want your hips to turn 180 degrees. So going from this side, right now my hips are facing this way, my belt knot is facing this way, boom. I want my belt knot to face all the way over. My plant foot faces my target. And what that does is it allows me to drive my hips through my target. Okay? And this is going to become incredibly important if you want to have power in your kicks. The other thing that does, and I'm going to use the bag just for a second, if I only turn my foot that 90 degrees, honestly, on me, and I know different people have different levels of flexibility in their hips, but for me, it's about as high as I can lift this leg, which means my kick is going to stop here unless I turn it at an angle in order to kick higher. But when I rotate that hip over, my hips open up, and I can bring that kick up a whole lot higher with very little effort. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about, and we'll kind of end on this part for the moment, is aiming your roundhouse kick. Now, if I'm doing a competition, if I'm sparring in class, and say I wanted to kick someone in the head, okay, we'll pretend that the bag is my partner, and then so there's the side of his head, and that's actually where I would aim, is right there. So I'm coming up, boom, and just tapping to the side of the head. But now here's the thing. If I'm doing this and I'm actually trying to put some oomph into it, if I was defending myself, which by the way, I probably would not be kicking to the head if they are still standing. That's not most likely going to be my opening, but just for the sake of argument, if I was trying to kick for the head, I don't want to kick the surface of the head. So if I was trying to kick somebody in this side of the head, I would be aiming like I'm kicking through to this side. But I still want it to snap back as soon as it hits. Now on the bag, that means I generally want to go almost to the center of the bag. So if I just kick to the side, like I would in sparring or in class, where I'm not trying to hurt anybody, pop, that hits fairly solidly, pop. But what I want, if I'm trying to do damage, is to drive that force in just a bit. I'm not trying, by the way, to do a Muay Thai style roundhouse kick where I'm throwing my weight all the way through. That ends up more as a shoving force. What we want is the force to hit and travel through the target, but we want our foot to snap back. I don't want to shove the bag with my foot. I want to hit it. So, quick case in point. We used to have a hanging heavy bag at one of my schools. And a lot of the guys, would get these big guys that would go out there and they'd kick the bag and see how much they could make it move and shake. And they had fairly powerful kicks. My goal wasn't that, though. Part of that is I'm 5'6" and 150 pounds. I'm never gonna be that big guy. But I could put power into my kicks by focusing it on one point. And my goal was to kick one side of the bag and have that side push in, and the force would travel through and make the other side of the bag blister out. And that's actually what I was able to do with a good focused kick. That's the kind of power that we want, the kind of power that hits, travels through, and our foot's already gone by the time that that's doing it. I don't want to leave my foot there for somebody to grab. I want it to pop. So the foot rotates and drives into the bag and then snaps right back. So I'm ready for another kick. So I'm ready to move in and strike. So I'm ready to move back and back. Okay, and we'll get some more into footwork in some of the other videos, but that pretty well does it for our little kind of intro to the roundhouse kick. Feel free to ask questions or give criticisms in the comments. If your instructor says to do it a particular way, when it comes to testing and stuff like that, do it their way. However, play around with this. Try and see how it feels for you. Because the idea is we really do want to try and give Taekwondo back its bite. We're giving it back its teeth. So that it's not just the sport that it seems to be here often in the United States. If you like this, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you can see the upcoming content. Right now we're going to be doing a lot of raw footage as we launch the channel, but in the upcoming videos, we'll start doing a bit more editing and that kind of stuff. Get some better camera work going here where we're doing some close-ups and stuff like that. But for me personally, one of the most important things about starting something is actually getting started. So the first several videos, they're going to be kind of a lot of raw footage. But please do give this a like and subscribe to the channel. And as we get more content, you'll be notified at it and communicate. If you have complaints, concerns, critiques, comments, leave them, and we'll try and address them. If you have questions also, whether it's about this or about some aspect of Taekwondo, absolutely get in touch with us, and if it's a really good question or whatnot, then we'll address it in future videos. Thank you very much, and see you soon.